Hey everyone, today's video is sponsored by myself. We now have a second channel called The Chaotic Tavern, where I'll be making videos discussing TTRPGs and everything to do with them. I'll be covering game systems, RPG horror stories, we even have a full-length Pathfinder campaign in production. I've already uploaded my first video, so be sure to go check it out. That'll be all, enjoy the video. Rimworld is an interesting game in that it really seems to bring out the worst in people in some rather unique ways. And it's easy to see why. This game is one giant resource management simulator. And if you really think about it, humans are the greatest resource. Sure, you could gently recruit somebody through compassion and persuasion, or you could, harvest 2 of their organs and threaten to make hats out of them if they don't sweep your floors. But you know what? I'm tired of being a monster. I'm tired of ruining lives and destroying families just to make a quick buck. So instead of butchering people and harvesting them for their organs, I'm gonna distribute extremely addictive opioids among their communities. The theme for this colony is a simple one: create an enormous drug empire and use my abundance of narcotics to befriend everyone on the map. The game is a lot easier when you're loved by the overwhelming majority of the people on the planet, especially the Empire. And I was going to smoke, snort, and bribe my way off this planet 1 ounce at a time, and nobody was going to stop me. Or at least that was the plan. Things took a very, very unexpected turn. But we'll get to that, don't you worry. Part of being an unstoppable drug empire is having a good base for agriculture. To that end, we need to pick a place that's warm and has plenty of soil. Specifically, fertile soil. So, of course, I chose to land my colonists in this green hellscape near the equator. Malaria, Agent Orange, toothy meat tubes, what's not to love? Meet the stars of our show: Nixtrizzy, Crikey, and Throckmorton. As always, these colonists were named by members of my Patreon Discord server. A huge thanks to Mim, Hugh, and Hero Cookies for the names. Y'all are a bunch of gems. Not only do you help me make this content, you help me name this content, and I love you for it. We touched down on the 1st of April, accompanied by Trooper, my golden lab. Normally when I build a colony, I'll slam it right down in the middle of the whole map. But when I zoomed out, I saw the lushest, most fertile patch of ground I've ever seen in this game. Look at the absolute size of that. I'm gonna work and toil, seed that soil, and live like a royal, goddammit. Hydroponics basins are important, but with a setup like this, they're not an immediate priority like they usually are. And we had the remnants of someone's shitty house to squat in. My colonists are believers in the high collectivist religion, meaning they're used to living shitty, largely unproductive lives. But starting today, they were going to become the wealthiest hippies you've ever seen. Okay, not today. It took over a full day for them to haul everything from the drop site to the new house. Look, it's a process, okay? I'm just happy they're sober enough to put one foot in front of the other. These rejects building their own beds is nothing short of miraculous to me. They didn't even have all 4 corners on their house yet. You can't just go around expecting them to be competent. We did get the place sealed up finally. A visitor from the Ambra Treaty stopped by to inspect our work and wander around in my yard. We bought a nice axe off of him, and then we went to sleep. The next few days were going to be grueling and full of manual labor. And if that wasn't bad enough, Throckmorton got his cheeks clapped by a rabid house pet. Oh my god, you're losing to a guinea pig. Stop losing to the thank you. God, you got scratched by a guinea pig. You're just the worst. God, you are just the worst. You absolute burden of the state and society at large. Fuck's wrong with you? He wasn't the only one suffering, though. Nixtrizzy was absolutely devastated when her son, Crikey, insulted her. Why would you make fun of the way that she walks, Crikey? That's such an odd thing to insult somebody for. Oh, because she wanted to start a conversation about cherry trees. Never mind. Yeah, you're a fucking weirdo. I bet you walk like an idiot. On the 5th day, I got to name my little community, the Licensed Dispensary. Please note, we are not licensed. We are in fact unlicensed and unqualified to run any kind of facility. Trailer park meth labs have higher standards than us, but that doesn't mean we have no standards. For example, someone crash landed near our house and was promptly turned away. Are you one of those fucking gross, ew, I don't like you, you're weird. I'm taking your shit. You are different and therefore wrong. You are not like me, therefore I do not enjoy your presence. I'm taking your clothes. Yeah, you can, I'm probably gonna leave these here, these are unsettling. I don't need spooky pants, I'm all set, thank you kindly. We don't have time to take in strange visitors. We're too focused on polishing this turd of a base and training Throckmorton to plant Psychoid. Of course, the Toxoid gang had to come and interrupt my progress, but it was only a quick distraction. By the 7th day, we were well on our way to having a proper base. No bedrooms yet, but hey, baby steps. We were also visited by an arms dealer from... Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Their fucked up name doesn't matter. What does matter is they sold me a very nice rifle for all the money I had. They also protected my house and some random noble from a horrific monster. On the 9th day, I began construction on dorm units for my colonists. I don't know what it is, but I like building each colonist their own little house if I'm playing with a small settlement. It's a waste of space, and I know it's not super efficient, but it makes me smile. At the end of the day, that's all I really care about. We also appointed Nixtrizzy as our spiritual leader. Her qualifications are, she's social, she's thankful, and she enjoys coffee. Honestly, I was probably right to choose her to be in charge. She seems like the most competent person in this colony. Don't be over there wasting my rice, bitch. What did I just say? And to bring our second week to a close, Cassandra decided to sprinkle a little black death on my house. Why do you have the plague? Wait, are those both my doctors? Are you both my doctors? Did both of my doctors just get the fucking plague? Are you serious? I wasn't too upset. Throck's already a blight on mankind. I don't see how this makes anything different. It just means all the years of his roommates avoiding him like the plague were about to pay off. Nixtrizzy catching it did complicate things a bit. Not as much as this, though. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. Fun fact, Neanderthals are made of hate and ballistic plates, apparently. We hit them once. Alright, we've hit him once so far. Oh, twice. A bunch. He's pretty fucked up. I don't think he can do anything now. That's a lot of bullet wounds you got there, bro. Christ almighty. How are you still up? Jesus fucking Christ. You're a mess, dude. There. God damn. Shambler, you still alive? Yeah, you got 3 hours left on you. I haven't even started giving out the drugs yet. Usually you have to hand out the fentanyl first, then you get zombies. On the 1st of Jugist, 1 month after I landed, production on our drug lab entered the first stage. I couldn't grow Psychoid yet, but I can get by with Smoke Leaf. Especially when I was able to grow a lot of it in a very short amount of time. Once I had a stockpile of drugs, befriending the rest of the planet wouldn't take real long. And to help that process move along, I accepted a quest for my neighbors from the Ambra Treaty. Apparently Cassandra did not approve of this because she smited the ever-loving shit out of Nixtrizzy. What the fuck? Why are you on fire? Otherwise, the next few days passed without incident. We had electricity, a kitchen, and then a horde of ducks. I actually hate having birds in this game. The egg management thing is too difficult for my stupid brain, but I figured I could keep them around and either sell them or use them as emergency food. And then I was joined by a new colonist, my first recruit. A bush sniper. Hell yeah, I'll get some VC in here, let's go. 52, oh goddamn. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, so she had some problems, but we all do. So I set a simple policy. She was allowed to stay until she set her first fire. Until then, she could stay here and live as a productive member of my community. It was 4 days. Oh, well, you knew the rules. Don't worry, we'll take care of ya. You loved fire so much. You know, this is gonna be poetic in a way. Now do me a huge solid, get the fuck out of my colony. By the end of September, we had made our first ally, the Ambra Treaty. I wouldn't call us friends though, no. Friends care for each other and share their troubles and burdens with one another. That's not what's happening here. I provide them the special white powder, and if they stop buying it from me, the shakes come back. To celebrate the occasion, I adopted a child named Ivo who pissed off a bunch of monkeys. A 3-year-old child, you say? I've got a place I can store a child. His religion was going to be a tough fit, but that's fine. I can indoctrinate that out of him. My allies took care of the apes, then left me one hell of a present. A batshit crazy woman named Morozov also joined me. It turns out she can heal people with her mind. Sometimes it makes strange tentacles burst out of people's chests, but that's a pretty mild side effect compared to most medications.
If you happen to die, please contact your doctor immediately.
I'm gonna jump ahead a bit here. A few things changed around my base. I adopted a few animals and I threw them in my pen. I just needed to make some space. I built more fortifications, I expanded the farm, and I started walling off my perimeter. Everything was going smoothly. My plan was going slow and steady. I knew it would take a while to reach the maximum rep with all of the factions, but it was something I'd never done before and I really wanted to try it. Then, one event changed that. One singular event made it so that my entire plan for this video was thrown off the rails and never got back on track. And it wasn't this. This didn't help, but it wasn't this. No, something far worse was brewing. Something indescribably awful was forming under the very soil my home was built on. And life for my colony would never be the same. A flesh mass heart. An unkillable creature that endlessly spawns walls of meat and eldritch horrors. I have never encountered one before, and I was caught completely off guard. I dealt with the initial wave of monsters, then hauled ass back to my base. Welcome to my nightmare, people. I had no clue what I was supposed to do about this thing until I killed one of the nodes and I researched the fleshy mass that it dropped. If I was better armed or armored or at least more informed, I would have been able to deal with this pest in a matter of minutes. As it stood, I had no armor, I had basic weapons, and I had not a goddamn clue as to what to do. I also discovered that trying to keep the walls clear and cutting them down as they grew really wasn't an option. Not with the gear and the people that I had. Oh, good. Wow, this just keeps getting worse. Every encounter with the flesh beasts nearly killed someone, and they wounded my colonists to the point that they couldn't do most tasks. I would have made better gear, but sadly, I didn't have most armor or weapons researched at this point. All of my studying was used for making drugs or for making things that would help me make drugs. I wasn't prepared for a fungal infection from our Lord and Savior Cthulhu. And apparently word got out to my neighbors about my little pest problem. You know how if somebody has a house fire, every dipshit in the neighborhood will gather around and watch their life go up in smoke? They'll stand in a circle and just watch somebody's hopes and dreams crumble to dust like a memory-filled bonfire. Imagine if some of those neighbors were actively hunting down any survivors from the house so they could get looting rights on whatever was left after the fire. That was my situation. Every asshole for miles was surging towards my base. It's like they knew they were running out of time to ransack my house before the meat monster swallowed it. And if it wasn't random savages trying to take my shit, it was viruses trying to override my immune system. Which, as it turns out, cannot be treated by using strange psychic healing powers. Eldritch incantations do not treat influenza. They do, however, treat your missing thumb. By amputating it and replacing it. At the shoulder. Which was apparently very upsetting to her. I mean, fair. I was so desperate for help that I recruited a woman named Linda. She was pregnant and she was mentally unstable. She was also a part of my religion though. She was also a fucking terrible shot, but that didn't matter. What I needed now were bodies. Anyone who could hold a club or a gun was welcome to join me. I needed all the help I could get. The mass had grown to the point that it was now above my base which was at the edge of the map. But the tide began to change. Steven came to my base. Steven is a merchant. Steven sells things. Terribly wonderful things. And this was my first step at taking back my goddamn house. Let's see what this does. Exciting things. I got everybody healed up and then it was time to roll out. I needed to push into the middle of this meat maze if I wanted to find the nerve clusters that gave me the option to kill the source of my problems. One of the first steps was getting rid of the acid spitters. Those were the things that were keeping me away the most. Little gross organic mortars that just seemed to have aimbot. Everyone pitched in their own fashion. Everyone except Nyx, she decided to have a mental breakdown. Fair enough. Whatever. The last nerve bundle I needed was right there. The last nerve bundle I needed was right there. With all the materials I needed, it was time to do some studying. After I got done treating everyone's injuries, because holy shit, everyone got absolutely mangled in this adventure, it was time to put the plan into action. Morozov was the one who volunteered. We sent her into the mouth of hell. She stared into the abyss, and when it stared back, she called it a bitch. So, it tried to seal her in with it. But that was it. I'd done it. I had managed to get rid of the flesh mass, and I could finally live in peace. Except getting rid of it didn't despawn all the flesh beasts it created. Those were still around, and they did more damage to my colonists than the actual boss creature. On the 14th of December, Throckmorton was returned to his ancestors. Goodbye, dear friend. You served adequately. Nixtrizzy, my surgeon, decided to have another mental breakdown while my colonists desperately needed her to perform surgery. Especially Crikey. Don't worry, though. He doesn't need it anymore. Morozov took it especially hard, to the point she let one of the entities out and promptly almost died to it. Then almost died again when her wound got infected. The only good to come out of this was I was raided by imps and managed to take one alive. Do I care about you? No, I do not. How about you? Linda also had her baby. And in an effort to bring this video home, Nixtrizzy decided to just go full wildcard factor by having yet another mental episode and making a very interesting decision. We're about to witness something amazing. And that's where I decided to leave things off. Okay, that's where I decided to leave things off. Not gonna lie, I was a little pissy about that. You absolute slag. Now I'm not even sad that you're missing your eye. I went into this run with the goal of running a world-class drug empire. I left it just glad to be alive. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely had a lot of fun watching everything unfold. If you have any suggestions for challenges or other games I should cover, let me know down in the comments below. A huge thanks to my backers on Patreon. You guys are the flesh walls I surround myself with to feel safe. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all next time.